Am I the idiot for calling my fiancée selfish for wanting to announce her pregnancy at her cousin's wedding? My fiancée, 29, and I, male 31, just found out that we're pregnant. My fiancée mentioned that she wanted to wait to announce it at her cousin's wedding, which will be taking place on Sunday. Her cousin and her husband have been struggling getting pregnant even with IVF or tons of others. Recently they just got some news that their insurance has stopped funding IVF, and not to mention the heartbreak of a recent miscarriage on Mother's Day. They almost understandably held off on the wedding. So when my fiancée brought it up to me, I told her it's not at all a good idea. This just seems so wrong, especially it being at their wedding. I asked if she was gonna at least ask her cousin for permission, and she said no because she wanted it to be a surprise for everyone. I told her it's not the time nor the place for that, and it would take the spotlight off the couple and her family. There hasn't been a baby in 3 years, so we'd be the first in that time. Fiancé feels that's the perfect time because it's such a joy, and it's not like she can keep it away forever, and their problems shouldn't keep her from saying something so positive. So it's on them if they turn it negative. I told her that's not the point. She knows what they've been through, and she's being selfish if she actually goes through with that. She cried and claimed I wasn't being supportive, and I shouldn't be calling my pregnant fiancé selfish. She doesn't want me to come with her to the wedding anymore either, feeling as if I would kill the mood. She hasn't been talking to me either at it. So about my fiancé and her cousin's relationship. My fiancé always saw competition in her cousin because her cousin would be better at some things than her. Grades, dancing, cosmetics, etc., since they were kids, and she hates that. Last year they had an argument about it because fiancé felt her cousin bragged too much, whereas my fiancé also mentioned there was one thing her cousin wasn't good at, but never said what it was. So in shorter terms the relationship is in between good and bad, but her cousin wanted to invite her to the wedding, I'm guessing to rekindle that. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. Your fiancé has a bad case of main character syndrome. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Are you sure you want to marry this person? She seems to have zero self-awareness, and when you didn't leap to 3 cheers for her stupid idea, she doesn't want you there because you'll kill the mood? She definitely loves herself above everyone else, including you. Now for the update. So I didn't expect to get a bunch of replies to my post. But a lot of them were helpful. My ex was determined to go to the wedding, despite my protests, and even planned out how she was going to be refusing alcohol when offered. I did tell my ex's parents about what she was planning on doing. I didn't want to tell the groom or bride because I wouldn't know how to put it in words that would make the whole situation any less awful. Ex's parents did end up telling the bride's parents, and then they told the bride. The bride was so upset that she, unfortunately, called off the wedding. Everyone wanted her to continue it, and invite my ex for a couple of plans guests thought of. When my ex announced it, everyone would just stay nonchalant and not give her the excited reaction she was hoping for, and the classic just don't invite her plan. The bride just understandably wanted to be left alone, and she just texted my fiancé a very long paragraph telling her what a horrible person she was. She just decided not to do the wedding anymore, and her fiancé was very heartbroken, but all in all, they were both grateful to me. My ex instantly knew that I was the cause of all of this, and she was furious at me, even more, because I posted about it here, but also said a pretty sick thing about how she still pretty much won anyways. I just decided to break up with her myself after that. Some of her family members are kinda upset with me, as they believe I just caused a bunch of drama. Now I'm currently in the works of talking to an attorney, as my ex told me I will not be seeing the baby after they're born. So all that on top of grief, working, breakup, being called a mess starter by some of her family, and still feeling like poop because either way the bride and groom were heartbroken. It's just putting a bunch of anxiety and stress on me, lol. Anyways, here is the long-awaited update. Any questions I'll answer. Edit. So they were pretty much already contemplating on canceling the wedding. Family members did stress her out over her miscarriage and canceling. Her fiancé's family were worried that she couldn't carry a baby to full term like a real woman. Not to mention her own family went around spreading her miscarriage like wildfire, which is how my ex and I found out. They even told it to coworkers. It's not the first time my ex has also interrupted her cousin's big events. When turning 17, my ex cake smashed her, which wasn't fun for her cousin. Their first pregnancy announcement, which was the miscarriage, was ruined because my ex blurted the news out. But her cousin's told to get over that because it was a miscarriage anyways, so she's told by family members. This is what I was told when asking her fiancé. So she's been at a breaking point for a while. She was considering just continuing the wedding but wanted to be left alone. They didn't call off the wedding permanently, just until the bride had cooled herself down. Comment 1. OMG, op, you did the right thing, which very often is also the hard thing. It's not very comforting, but it's something. It's really unfortunate that you didn't find out about your ex before you tied yourself to her with a child, because she is not going to make it easy. Keep doing the right thing, and good luck with the forthcoming munchkin. They're amazing at refocusing your priorities. Comment 2. You're the idiot. While it's understandable that you're concerned about your fiancée's timing, it's ultimately her decision when to announce the pregnancy. It's not fair to label her as selfish without considering her perspective. The wedding may have been an opportunity for her to share her joy amidst the family struggles. Communication and compromise are key here, rather than jumping to accusations. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not asking my father to walk me down the aisle? I, female 27, am engaged, planning to get married to my partner, female 30, of 3 years next year. Since I came out as bi, when I was 15, my dad hasn't been supportive of me. He was upset when I first told him about my fiancée and has made it clear he doesn't approve of me being with a woman. He's very distant when I take her to my parents' home for dinner, and won't talk to her when making conversation at the dinner table. When my fiancée isn't around, he's made a lot of subtle cutting comments about her/our relationship despite me telling him to back off. He makes it clear in general that he doesn't see her as family. Basically, he's been casually homophobic my entire life. You know the type. He's not providing any financial support for the wedding, and when I asked if he would actually be attending the wedding, he just gave me a snide. We'll see. So I honestly wasn't even expecting he would turn up. Part of our intended wedding ceremony will involve me being walked down the aisle and given away. I enjoy a lot of the classic wedding traditions, and that's one I really want to carry out. I assumed my dad wouldn't want to walk me down the aisle. TBH, I don't want him to either, so I asked a male friend, male 58, instead, 1 week ago. This man has known me for almost half my life. He's like a mentor to me and honestly has been more of a father figure to me than my actual dad has. I love him like a paternal figure. We met when I was 16. He was teaching an acting class I signed up for. We both work in theater. He's provided lots of emotional support over the years and been openly supportive of my relationship from the start. He has 2 sons around my age and has said before he sees me a bit like the daughter he never had. He said he'd be honored to give me away. My dad learned of this fact recently. I'm not sure how. He's furious. He says I'm undermining his authority as a parent and making him look like an asshole/fool to everyone who attends the wedding, and if I insist on going through with this, he won't attend at all. There's no way he's going to sit at a table and watch some other man give me away. He's pissed I didn't ask him. After he said that I asked if he would have said yes, he dodged the question and yelled at me and eventually hung up on me. I admit I didn't consider asking him, and I honestly didn't see the need to. I guess it'll be embarrassing for my dad if he comes, but considering his behavior towards me and my fiancée over the course of our relationship, I don't feel like he's justified to make this demand. Am I the idiot for not asking my actual dad to walk me down the aisle? Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. Walking your daughter down the aisle is a privilege, not a right. And his behavior has ensured that he is not deserving of that privilege. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Your father has done nothing to support your relationship. He has shown a complete lack of respect for your partner. He doesn't get to cause unnecessary drama on your big day. Congratulations on the upcoming wedding. Now for the update. Hi, am I the idiot? I posted here 3 years ago. This update is obviously long overdue, but things have been intense the past few years, so I forgot about this account for a long time. I remembered it while browsing some other subreddits, and thought I would share my update because things are better than I ever thought they could be back in 2020. So COVID obviously scuppered our wedding plans. It was meant to be in January 2021, but by that time our country still wasn't in stable enough condition to throw the big wedding with friends and family we wanted. I also lost my job because my company closed, so we wanted to watch our budget. My dad got COVID early in the pandemic, and it was bad enough that he ended up in hospital. Visiting rules were very strict, and only my mom could visit him, and they were both actually really scared he might die. He didn't, but it affected him for a long time afterward. He started going back to church when things opened up a bit. Both my parents are Catholic, but my mom was always the more religious one. He was a bit more lapsed. And you guys will not believe this, my wife, and I was shocked, that was what made him realize he was a bit of a homophobic AH. The church he went to is quite progressive and is big on the whole accept everyone exactly as they are, because that is how God made us and only God can judge stuff. And the almost dying from COVID thing apparently gave him a different outlook on things. Cut a long story short, we started seeing each other more. We had a lot of long emotional talks. He slowly started apologizing to me and my wife for being an AH, including the wedding thing, and we are now closer than we have been since I was a teenager. Both he and my mentor were at our makeup wedding last year. We ended up making the ceremony a lot less formal than planned because I guess living through COVID gave us different outlooks too, my wife and I just wanted to have a fun time and not care too much about strict traditions. So we ended up walking down the aisle together while all our family and friends sat and watched and cheered. LOL. Things are good. We have dinner with my parents at least once a month, and it's awesome. I found a better job and we're more financially stable now and thinking about having kids. I'm excited. Thanks for the judgments and responses back then, and I guess I want to tell everyone that sometimes things work out even when you don't expect them to. Life can surprise you, so look forward to those surprises. Comment 1. I was expecting the worst, but this put a smile on my face seeing that people can change for the better sometimes. I am glad you can have a relationship with your father. COVID was horrible, but I'm glad some good came from the nightmare. Comment 2. This gives me hope for the world in a subreddit that normally makes me despair. Congratulations and best of luck for the future. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my roommate that I don't give a frick about her boyfriend's allergies? I, female 24, have been living with my roommate Layla, female 25, for about 10 months. We have a 2-year lease, so I really want to fix this so we're not miserable for the next year, and to start I need to see if I'm in the wrong. Layla started dating Kyle about 6 months ago. Kyle has severe food allergies to shellfish, nuts and soy, as well as a lot of more mild/moderate allergies. I use nuts and soy a lot in my cooking and some occasional shrimp. At first, Layla would tell me that Kyle was coming over and I would just adjust whatever I was planning on making if it was something that would be aerosolized, mostly nuts, and this was fine. He's never had any reactions at our apartment from my food. But it's slowly escalated, and now they want me to not keep any ingredient in the apartment that could cause him anaphylaxis, even if I'm not actively eating or cooking it while he's over. I've refused and they both pushed back a lot on it, and I snapped a little and told them I don't give a frick about his allergies. I can accommodate him to an extent, but I don't care if the contents of my cabinet make him uncomfortable. He doesn't need to be near my things at all. They're being very dramatic and insisting I'm gonna kill him with my selfishness by having closed jars of nuts in the kitchen I pay to use. But I'm not going to have my diet restricted by someone who doesn't even live here. Layla isn't speaking to me at all right now, and I feel a little bad now because I do understand how serious allergies are, but I also think they're overextending boundaries by telling me what I can or can't eat when he's not even here. Now, for a few comments before the update. I have a feeling the boyfriend will be around a lot more often, i.e. move in unofficially, if you were to remove your food items. Not the idiot. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Kyle doesn't live there. If his allergies are so severe, he probably shouldn't be putting himself in harm's way by coming to your apartment. Now, for the update. I sat down with Layla a few days after my initial post and really talked with her about why I felt her and Kyle's request was unacceptable, and I laid out my biggest concerns. I eat mostly plants, so nuts and soy are like 50% of my protein. So my grocery bill would increase because I'd have to make it up in animal products. Who's going to pay for that? I'm not vegetarian, but I don't really want to eat like that, and I definitely don't want to pay for it, so would they make up that increase? I honestly didn't trust them to stop there. I already did what I felt was a reasonable accommodation, and it wasn't enough, so how long till they take coconut, eggs and tomatoes from me too? It was weird to ask me in the first place, and I felt really disrespected because this is my home, and I don't take second place to a guest. I can to her, personally of course, but that doesn't extend to the apartment. I said I would agree to continue not using his serious allergens when he was present or soon to be, and that was the line. It didn't go over well at all, and Layla told me I was overreacting and I could just do it, and kept talking over me when I tried to say that I wouldn't. Eventually she slipped up with a, "Well, what if he moved in?" And I said absolutely not and ended the conversation with her for the night. We argued in circles about it for nearly 2 weeks, and once it was out, she didn't drop it. I realized it wasn't going to get better, so I did what I didn't want to do and told her that I was going to the landlord about breaking my part of the lease, and she freaked out. It where Kyle's money goes, but apparently he doesn't have any because she was yelling about not being able to afford it on her own, and he couldn't help even if he moved in. I told her that this had gone way too far and I didn't think I could be happy living here with her anymore. If it were easier for her to leave instead, that would be fine too. She was really upset, and I said I wouldn't force her out or leave her suddenly on the lease alone, but it was one or the other. Eventually she accepted it and decided she would move back in with her dad. That was the end of April, and she's fully moved out as of this week. My childhood best friend Allie has been flip-flopping on moving to my city for forever now, and me calling and saying I had a cheap open bedroom if she came right away got her to finally pull the trigger on it. And it helped Layla out because she didn't have to pay to break the lease since I agreed to cover the full rent at my own risk. Allie has stuff to tie up in our home state still, but she's already sent me half of July's rent. I just gotta squeeze for a little while, but I'll make it. I'm super excited to see her and show her around. Plus we've been cooking together since 4th grade, so that'll be a nice change, lol. And I can get a cat. It's been a bit of a rough couple of months, but I'm very happy with how things are looking right now, so I just wanted to share with you guys. Comment 1. So she was expecting you to pay for him to live there as well if he moved in. Like damn, all kinds of entitlement from those two. Comment 2. Imagine blowing up your living situation for your worthless homosexual boyfriend. Outstanding display of effective boundary setting OP. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.